My wife thinks I'm cheating with my employee and demands I fire her now she's gone and my marriage is falling apart. Let me tell you, this whole situation is blowing up in my face, and I genuinely don't know what to do anymore. My wife and I have been together for 8 years, married for 2, and up until now, she's never been the jealous type. But lately? Holy hell, it's like she's turned into a completely different person, and I honestly don't think I deserve it. So here's the deal. I landed a great management job about a year ago. It's been amazing for us financially. I'm talking nicer vacations, a better home, and finally not having to stress over every little bill. But the job requires a lot of recruiting, which means building and maintaining a solid team. And yeah, I've been killing it, so close to a big promotion that I can practically taste it. Enter my newest recruit, a young, super talented woman who's absolutely crushing it at work. She's bright, driven, and honestly just fun to have around the office. And yeah, she's attractive. But I need to be clear, I love my wife, and I would never in a million years do anything to jeopardize our marriage. I've worked with plenty of attractive women before, and it's never been an issue. But for some reason, this one? She's got my wife seeing red. At first, it was little comments. Are you sure you need to spend so much time mentoring her? But things escalated fast. 3 weeks ago, we had a work-sponsored night out. These things are encouraged by upper management to help team bonding, and usually, my wife tags along too. But that night, most of my team was out of town, so it ended up just being me and the new girl. My wife called, saying she could swing by after work, but I told her to sit this one out since it was just the two of us. Bad move? Probably. And then it happened. My new girl, thinking she's funny, yells out, "Come back to bed," as I'm on the phone with my wife. And let me tell you, the rage I heard on the other end of the line? I've never experienced anything like it. I cut the call short because arguing in front of a new recruit wasn't exactly professional, but I knew I'd be in trouble when I got home. And oh boy, I was right. Cue the massive fight. She was furious, accusing me of being disrespectful, and I panicked and blurted out, "She's not even attractive. You have nothing to worry about." Yeah, dumb move, I know. That didn't help at all. If anything, it made things worse. Fast forward a week. I'm in the office, holding an informal team chat. Space is tight, so people are sitting anywhere they can, on shelves, leaning against walls. The new girl walks in last and, seeing no chairs left, casually sits on the edge of my desk. No big deal, right? Well, guess who walks in at that exact moment? My wife. She takes one look, my new girl sitting on my desk, leaned in, talking to me, and just silently puts my stuff down and walks out. No yelling, no questions. Just out. I don't run after her because, again, I'm at work, but I know this isn't going to end well. I get home later, and she's in the shower. Crying. Like full on sitting in the tub, knees to her chest, sobbing under the water. And I'm standing there, dumbfounded. I didn't do anything wrong. She's making this into something it's not, right? I got frustrated, left the house, and met up with a few of my work buddies to vent. And guess who shows up? Yup. New girl. Apparently, 2 of the guys I called were already with her, and she walks in looking like she's ready for a night out, dressed to kill. The worst part? She snaps a group selfie, posts it online, and my wife, of course, sees it. Cue the passive-aggressive Facebook comment, "Nice to see you having so much fun." And the new girl, trying to be nice, or maybe stirring the pot, who even knows anymore, responds with, "He's in good hands." Yeah. That didn't go over well. I get home, and it's more tears. More accusations. She says I'm being willfully ignorant, that it's obvious the new girl has a thing for me and is stirring up drama, and that I must think she's an idiot for not seeing it. And then she asks if she can look through my phone. I mean, seriously? I told her no, because come on, that's ridiculous. But now, of course, she's convinced I have something to hide. And to make things worse, she's still upset that I downplayed how attractive the new girl is, like that somehow confirms I'm lying about other things too. Now I'm dealing with complete silent treatment. She won't talk to me, won't even look at me. And honestly, I don't know what she expects me to do. I can't fire someone just because my wife doesn't like her. The new girl is a solid employee, she's helping the team, and my job is on the line here. I just feel stuck. Like, what am I supposed to do? My wife is acting like this whole situation is some kind of soap opera, and I'm left here wondering if I'm actually missing something or if she's just being paranoid. Either way, I'm running out of patience. So yeah. What the hell do I do now? Update 1. Things have officially spiraled, and I feel like I'm stuck in some twisted reality show. I thought my wife's reaction would cool down after a couple of days, but nope. If anything, it's worse. Silent treatment turned into passive-aggressive jabs, and now she's actively avoiding me at home. But what really set things off? My new girl, NG, just keeps making everything worse without even trying. So, after the whole In Good Hands Facebook drama, I tried to sit my wife down and talk things through. I explained how the team building stuff is part of my job, that there's nothing between me and NG, and that it's just work. She stared at me for a solid minute before saying, "You're either lying to me, or you're too dumb to see what's happening." Then walked off. Cool. Now, here's where it gets ridiculous. The next day at work, I tried to keep things as professional as possible, staying distant from NG and focusing on actual work. But because life hates me, NG casually mentions that she signed us both up for a leadership seminar next month. She's all excited about it, saying how it'll be great for team synergy. I could already feel the marital doom approaching. I go home and tell my wife about it, trying to be transparent, right? The look she gave me could have melted steel. Oh, so now you're going on getaways with her? I tried to explain it's just work-related, a one-day thing, nothing major, but she wasn't having it. She threw out a sarcastic, "Why don't you just invite her to Thanksgiving too?" and stormed off. Then came the nuclear incident. One of my coworkers had a birthday, and NG organized a surprise cake thing at the office. Harmless, right? I had no idea she took it upon herself to bake the cake and bring it in. The cake itself had some ridiculous frosting message about how I was the best boss ever. Embarrassing, sure, but whatever. We cut the cake, I take a piece, and guess who shows up with lunch for me? Yep. My wife. She walks in, sees me with a forkful of NG's homemade cake, and immediately turns around and leaves without saying a word. At this point, I'm panicking. I text her, no response. I call, straight to voicemail. When I finally get home that night, she's sitting on the couch, arms crossed, eyes red. "Tell me the truth," she says. "Do you really think I'm stupid?" I tell her again. Nothing's happening, and she's making something out of nothing. Then she hits me with, "Then why does everyone at your job think it's okay to act like you're single?" Ouch. Apparently, one of her friends, who follows NG on social media, because of course she does, sent her screenshots. Turns out NG posted a picture of the cake, with the caption, "Making the boss smile, one sweet treat at a time." I had no idea. I don't even have her on social media. Now I'm in the middle of another full-blown meltdown. Wife says I've let it go too far and that I'm encouraging it by not setting firmer boundaries. I argue that I have. I literally told NG to stop with the jokes after the whole come back to bed thing. But now my wife's convinced NG is playing the long game, and I'm just being oblivious. "You're too nice," she says. "You don't even see when someone's flirting with you." Cue the ultimate demand. She wants me to get NG off my team. Here's the thing, I can't. The girl is killing it at work. Management loves her numbers, and firing her for something like this? That would be a whole legal nightmare. I tried to explain that to my wife, but she just gave me this look like she didn't believe me. "So your job is more important than your marriage?" And that's when I knew I was in deep. Desperate times, desperate measures. I tried to get some advice from my work friends, hoping someone had been in a similar situation. Big mistake. One of the guys basically laughed and said, "Dude, your wife's not wrong. NG definitely has a thing for you." Not helpful, Steve. Not helpful at all. Another friend suggested I keep a work-only relationship, no casual conversations, no team outings, and definitely no more cake-related incidents. Good advice, but it's hard when socializing is literally part of the job. Meanwhile, NG remains blissfully unaware of the damage she's causing. I had another sit down with her, making it crystal clear that she needs to chill with the personal touches, and she looked genuinely confused. "I didn't think it was a big deal," she said. "I was just being friendly." Friendly my ass. The tipping point? My wife brought up something that I hadn't even thought about. She's worried about how this all looks. Not just to her, but to our friends, family, even my coworkers. "People are talking," she said. "And you're just brushing it off." And honestly, that hit me hard. I don't want to be that guy. Now, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I can't get rid of NG without blowing up my career, but I also can't keep letting my wife feel like this. So I did the only thing I could think of. I suggested she come hang out at one of our work events, get to know NG in a normal setting. Maybe then she'd see there's nothing going on. Her response? "I don't need to meet her. I need you to fix this. And I have no idea how." Update 2. If I thought things were bad before, I clearly underestimated just how much worse they could get. The situation has officially gone from awkward misunderstandings to full-blown relationship crisis, and I have no idea how to fix it. So, after my last update, I tried taking everyone's advice, setting clearer boundaries with NG, keeping things strictly professional, and giving my wife constant reassurance. Did it help? Not even a little. If anything, it made things weirder. First, I started keeping my interactions with NG to the bare minimum. Strictly work talk, no small talk, no jokes, nothing. And guess what? NG noticed. She straight up asked me if she did something wrong because I was acting cold. I tried to play it off and told her I was just swamped with work, but of course, that didn't fly. Then she drops the bombshell. "I hope your wife isn't upset because of me." What the hell am I supposed to say to that? I just told her no, everything was fine, and we moved on. But I guess that wasn't enough because later that day, she sent me a freaking email apologizing if she made my wife uncomfortable. Which would have been great. If she didn't also CC my boss. Now my boss thinks there's an issue between me and NG, and I had to have this awkward conversation about professionalism and boundaries. Great. Fantastic. Just what I needed. And my wife? Well, she saw the email too because, surprise. NG sent it to my work email, which syncs to my phone. That went over about as well as you'd expect. She read it and just looked at me like, "See? Even she knows this is a problem." But here's where it really goes off the rails. A few days later, my wife decided to do something completely out of character. She showed up at my office unannounced. Just walked in, all casual, bringing me lunch like some kind of surprise date move. Except, let's be real, it wasn't a sweet surprise. She was scoping things out. And it didn't take long for her to spot NG sitting at her desk, looking like she always does. Put together. Smiling. Friendly. My wife barely said 2 words to her, just handed me the lunch, smiled tight, and left. No scene, no drama. But when I got home that night, holy hell. She starts off with, "So, she's exactly what I thought she was." I asked what that meant, and she goes, "She's one of those girls. The ones who know exactly what they're doing." I tried to tell her she was overreacting, but she hit me with, "You're either too blind or too stupid to see it." Cue another long, painful fight where she accused me of leading NG on, even if I wasn't doing it intentionally. I get where she's coming from. Kind of. But I also feel like I'm getting blamed for just existing near this woman. Then, the real kicker. She said she's not sure she can trust me in this environment. That one hurt. A lot. I've never given her a reason to doubt me, and now she's acting like I'm 2 seconds away from cheating. And the more I try to prove I'm not, the guiltier I apparently look. And then, the ultimate betrayal. A couple of nights ago, I woke up to find my wife wasn't in bed. I found her in the living room, curled up on the couch with my phone in her hand. Yep. She went through it. Texts, emails, everything. The kicker? She didn't find anything. But instead of feeling relieved, she looked even more upset. "You're too careful," she said. "If you were cheating, you wouldn't be dumb enough to leave evidence. What am I even supposed to do with that?" I told her that's insane. Because it is. But she just shut down again and went full silent treatment mode. At this point, I feel like I'm losing my mind. I tried sitting her down the next day and asking straight up, "What do you need me to do to fix this?" Her answer? "Get rid of her." Like. What? I can't fire someone just because my wife doesn't like them. I explained that again, but she's convinced I'm prioritizing my job over our marriage. And honestly, I don't even know if she's wrong anymore because this whole thing is consuming my life. And, of course, as if things couldn't get any worse, NG decided to drop another casual bomb. She came into my office, closed the door, and in this totally innocent voice goes, "Hey, I just want to make sure I'm not causing problems at home." I wanted to scream. But I just told her it was fine, everything was fine, everything is fine, while internally falling apart. And then, this is where I knew I was truly doomed. She asked if my wife might want to grab coffee with her sometime. Like some kind of weird peace offering. The worst possible idea imaginable. I told her I'd think about it, which was my way of saying absolutely not, and just tried to get her out of my office before my head exploded. Meanwhile, my wife's still not talking to me. I can't do anything right. If I try to act normal, I'm ignoring the problem. If I try to set boundaries, I'm being too defensive. I suggested therapy, and she laughed in my face. And the worst part? Now I'm starting to get paranoid. What if she's right? What if NG is playing some long game and I've been too naive to see it? What if my wife is picking up on something I've been too distracted to notice? I feel like I can't win. No matter what I do, I'm the bad guy. And every single interaction at work feels like walking a tightrope, trying not to give off the wrong impression. So yeah. If anyone has an actual solution, I'm all ears. Because right now, I'm out of ideas, and my marriage feels like it's hanging by a thread. Update 3. Well, this whole mess finally reached its breaking point, and I wish I could say it ended neatly with a big lesson learned and everyone happily moving on. But real life isn't that simple. After weeks of tension, endless fights, and my wife acting like a detective on a true crime show, I hit my limit. I told her flat out that I couldn't keep living like this. I'm exhausted, mentally, emotionally, even physically from the stress of walking on eggshells both at home and at work. I love her, but I can't keep proving my innocence every single day. Her response? Then prove it one last time. Fire her. I lost it. I told her, again, that firing NG wasn't an option. Not only would it be unethical, but it would also tank my reputation at work, and, let's be real, open us up to a potential lawsuit. My job is what gives us the life we have now, and I thought she'd understand that. Instead, she accused me of choosing my career over her. I told her it wasn't about choosing, there shouldn't even be a choice. That conversation didn't go well. She packed a bag and said she was going to stay at her sister's for a while. And just like that, she was gone. I honestly thought it might be a good thing, time apart, some breathing room. But instead, it just made everything feel heavy. I kept replaying everything in my head, trying to figure out if I really was blind to something obvious. Was I too nice? Too oblivious? Did I miss something that set her off? Then came the final blow. While she was gone, she sent me an email, not a text, not a call, an email, saying she needed space to think about things and that maybe we should reevaluate our priorities. My heart sank. I knew what that meant. It wasn't about NG anymore. It was about trust. Somewhere along the way, I stopped being her partner and became someone she didn't feel secure with. And honestly, I don't even know when that happened. So I did what I could. I didn't fight it. I let her have the space. But deep down, I knew it was over. A couple of weeks passed, and she came back, not to talk things through, but to grab more of her stuff. That was the confirmation I needed. I asked her straight up if she thought we could fix this, and she just looked at me, tears in her eyes, and said, "I don't know if I'll ever trust you again." That hurt more than I expected. We officially decided to separate, and I'm now in the process of figuring out what life looks like without her. It's weird. When you're with someone for so long, you assume they'll always be there. But trust? Once it's gone, it's almost impossible to get back. As for work, NG is still around, but I've been careful to keep things strictly professional. No after-hours hangouts, no casual chats, just business. I even brought it up to my boss that I wanted to take a step back from the more social side of the job for now. He understood, but I could tell he was curious about what was going on. I won't lie, there's a part of me that wonders if I should have handled things differently. Maybe I should have set firmer boundaries from the start, or maybe I should have reassured my wife in a way that actually made her feel safe. But at the end of the day, I was honest. I never crossed any lines. And I have to believe that should have been enough. I've been thinking a lot about what comes next. Right now, I'm focusing on work, on myself, and trying to move forward without holding on to too much resentment. I know my wife wasn't crazy, she was scared. And I get it. But damn, it sucks to lose someone you love over something you know wasn't even real. So, that's where I'm at. Alone, but not entirely broken. Just figuring it out one day at a time. Thanks to everyone who offered advice along the way. Even if things didn't work out, it helped to know I wasn't going crazy.